Carrie, do you have a copy of the minutes from last? Of 2024. The meeting is now open at 2:06 p.m. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of the county boardroom. We'll now do roll call. Randy Bennett.
Here.
George Forrest.
Here.
Other member Jonathan Davidson attending.
Here.
Diane Bruce absent.
She's here.
Here comes
She
Diane.
just walked in.
Yes.
Diane Bruce present.
Yeah.
Excellent.
If you get my text.
How do we treat Stephen Abraham? Is he absent or is
He resigned, so he's
he's no longer a member?
No longer
Okay.
a member.
So we have 4 members present and none absent. Also attending are Carrie Plummer-Galecki, Board Secretary, and Mary Davis, HR Director. And then we have Kayla Starbuck.
We actually
She's
have
not-
Rosario.
She's not here. Rosario's here from the County Attorney's Office. Perfect. Thank you. Item number 1, public comments. Carrie, do we have anyone wanting to speak during the open comments portion?
No, we do not.
Perfect. Item 2, we need to elect a vice chairperson.
I nominate Diane Bruce.
You coming in last is not going to work.
That was quick. We have a nomination and a second. Nomination by Bennett. Second by Forrest for Diane Bruce to serve as vice chair. Do we have any other nominations for the vice chairperson? Hearing none, we will now vote on the nomination for vice chair of Diane Bruce.
Can she vote for herself?
The motion
She
is,
needs to abstain.
she needs to abstain.
Can I just change it here?
You need me to
Okay.
abstain?
1 abstain, 3 yay, motion carries.
The motion has carried. Congratulations, Ms. Bruce. Item 3, considering the minutes of the August 21st, 2024 meeting, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by George Forrest, second by Diane Bruce, to approve the meeting minutes for the August meeting as submitted. Please vote.
4 yay, motion carries.
Motion carries. Meeting minutes of previous meeting are approved. Item 4, consideration of the Gallagher Compensation and Classification Study update. Mary, you have a presentation for us?
I do.
Perfect.
I thought I would just take a couple minutes and update you on the Gallagher Classification and Compensation Study that we began here at the county. In July, Gallagher held kickoff project meetings with employees, supervisors, elected officials, and department heads. During the months of August and September, designated employees were asked to complete what they call position description questionnaires. 271 questionnaires were sent out to the employees, and we have approximately 90% of those completed, which is about 243. This is a great response, and I'd like to thank the employees for their participation, as I know how time-consuming and difficult those questionnaires can sometimes be. The next project phase will be the completion of the job classifications and then the market review. And that will take place, the job classifications, I believe they have started preparing those based on the information that they have. And so we should be updated next week as to how far they are on that piece. HR, just to give you an idea of our biweekly meetings, we have biweekly meetings with Gallagher, our HR team does. And then the county administrator and I have monthly meetings with the elected officials and department heads to keep them updated of the project. And then I will continue to update you as we have more information. Okay, do you have any questions?
No, that is a great response percentage. That was really good to get that back.
That is. We were happy. We were very happy with that, so.
Any other questions or comments? Nope. Perfect. Item 5, discussion on process for amendments to personnel rules and regulations. Mary Davis, you have something to present.
Sure. You know, I just would like to provide you with a recap on how the next agenda item came before the Personnel Policy Board and the process that will be recommended to you as we move forward. If you remember, Mr. Hergenrader requested that his paid leave policy revisions be placed on the Personnel Policy Board agenda on July 25th for the Personnel Policy Board meeting scheduled for August 14th. After conversations with legal counsel, it was decided that Mr. Hergenrader could address the board during public comments at the August 14th meeting. And then the board could allow that item to be placed on the next scheduled meeting for discussion. The August 14th meeting was rescheduled to the 21st, where Mr. Hergenrader was set to address the board. That meeting got canceled, and so because we didn't have a quorum, and so now we're here today. I'm sorry, I just messed that up. I apologize. Anyway, at the August 21st meeting, Zach Hergenrader did address the board. The item was placed on the board agenda. That meeting got canceled due to a lack of quorum last week, and so that's why we are here today. At the time of Mr. Hergenrader's request, we had not yet reconvened the employee and the management advisory committees for policy review. These committees are now in place. Moving forward, I will be recommending the following process for policy revisions, and this will be placed in writing for your review and official approval. The process does adhere to the state statutes, and just to give you an idea of what that will say at this time, the county shall create 2 advisory groups, one of classified employees and one of the elected officials' department heads. The advisory group shall be tasked with reviewing the proposed amendments submitted by the county personnel officer or designee before the amendment is placed on the Personnel Policy Board agenda. The advisory groups may recommend changes to the proposed amendments, however, final authority rests with the county personnel officer as to what gets moved forward to the Personnel Policy Board. County employees will be notified of the proposed revisions, and employees shall be given an opportunity upon request to appear before the Personnel Policy Board and present their views on the proposed amendments. The Personnel Policy Board shall submit the rules and regulations for adoption or amendment and adoption by resolution to the County Board of Commissioners. And do you have any questions about that at all? Okay.
Will that be presented at the next meeting? You mentioned that you're going to be putting that in writing and presenting to us.
Yes.
It's anticipated at the next meeting that we'll be presented with that.
I do. At this time, the advisory committees have reviewed the first rule of the personnel policy rules and regs, which I think were 5 regulations in Rule 1, and this is part of that. So,
Perfect.
any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Item number 6, presentation on an increase of paid vacation and holidays for Sarpy. Zach Hergenrader, if I butchered your name, I apologize.
Nope, you got it.
Okay. Who's an engineer in the Public Works Group.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Zach Hergenrader, Senior Engineer for Sarpy County Public Works. I've been in front of this board numerous times in the last few months fighting to keep benefits that the County Board of Commissioners has stripped away from employees. In that time, the commissioners have disbanded the wellness program, and they've removed employees' professional days, which was against this board's recommendation. I'm here today to discuss and answer any questions to my proposals for increasing vacation days, sick days, and holidays. All of this data was shared at previous personnel policy board meetings, so I'll keep this brief. I've looked at the leave policies for other county and city agencies in the area and compared them to what we currently have at Sarpy County. Just one quick example of how far behind we are. Someone who has worked 10 years for Sarpy County will receive 17 days of annual leave. These other agencies are averaging 20 days per year, and that's just an average. That's an additional 3 days per year that these other agencies are getting. Some agencies receive as many as 6 additional days of annual leave compared to what we get. There are many more examples I can provide this board. I've also heard from potential hires that they can't believe how bad our leave accruals currently are and would decline a job offer based on that alone. Sarpy County's leave policy needs to be updated if we want to attract and hire the best candidates and retain current employees. I'm proposing increasing annual leave accruals and adding 1 holiday to match other local public agencies, and increasing sick leave accruals to match current union negotiated amounts. What I'm asking for is not unreasonable. These proposed policy changes will level the playing field when it comes to time off benefits for Sarpy County employees. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that this board has. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
I have some questions.
Sure.
When you were putting together your survey, did you request any help in picking what other entities you used?
No, I just looked at local agencies in the area, say within a 10, 15-mile radius. So I used Pottawatomie County, Douglas County, Lancaster County, City of Omaha, Papillion, La Vista, Bellevue, and then federal employees that are within the Omaha locality.
Did you realize when you were doing this that the State of Nebraska Commission on Industrial Relations has a comparability array, and that array is generally 1/2 the population size to 2 times the population size, which would disqualify several of the counties that you used in your array. Douglas County would not be comparable. Pottawatomie County would not be comparable. And I don't believe the CIR would allow comparison against federal employees. And I'm not sure they allow county comparison against city municipalities, which, although I applaud your attempt to increase benefits for the employees, I think that the scope of the process doesn't fit what is allowed by statute. Let me ask a question. Did you seek any input from any of the employee organizations or labor groups into your array?
No, I didn't. So I did send it out to employees to get their feedback. I didn't receive any feedback. And I know the comparables were brought up at the last few meetings. My argument would be that we're not competing with these other counties, say in Wisconsin, for employees. We're competing with these local agencies for employees. And specifically in public works, we're having a huge issue just trying to get engineers on board. And a lot of the feedback that we're getting is it's because of our benefits.
Would your proposed benefits affect all Sarpy County employees?
So
No
it'd
matter
be,
where their work locations are?
so it'd be the employees that fall under the classified description.
So the highway maintenance workers?
Yeah, it'd be,
In the county.
yep,
Yeah, within
as long
the
as they're
county.
classified, yes.
The classified employees that work here in the courthouse?
Yes.
Mary, do you have a comment?
I do. In reference to what positions would be covered by this, what we have to remember is we have 6 bargaining units. And so what Zach's proposing today would only be for those classified non-union, because the other ones are all covered under collective bargaining, and they would have to bargain for those benefits, those benefit changes.
And I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume that if this is approved for one group of employees, everybody eventually is gonna want that benefit.
Yeah, they'll negotiate toward that.
And that would have to be negotiated, correct?
And some of these issues are, like I said, I understand you're trying to bring everything into comparable in a metro area, but it still has to be done within the process. And I'm not entirely convinced that the process was completely done completely with every party that could be affected in the loop.
Okay.
Zach, are you a hiring manager?
I guess I'm involved with hiring.
You've referenced several times you're having trouble hiring people. Is that a role that is under your scope? Are you working to hire engineers under you?
Yes.
Okay. So, and in the conversation, you referenced that they comment that this is the one thing. So, everything else they consider equal, but that's the only difference?
Yes. That's
Interesting. Interesting. Thank you.
correct. Yep.
Did you do this one or did you guys do this one?
I put that together.
Okay, so just on the first line on Sarpy County and current leave, I just want to confirm, I think it's typos, but I want to make sure.
Sure.
It says the first year, it says 128, but then the second year, 88. So I
Yep.
want to, what do the people start with here?
And so that's the additional 40 hours that was just passed in June
Oh, got it, okay.
for new employees. Could I ask a quick question of you?
Yes, sir.
Who do you recommend that I work with as far as employee groups go?
I would like to see some input from all the various employee groups, realizing that down the road, everybody's going to want to be included.
Right.
I also realize that some of these enhancements have been asked for in the past. Tony Burkhalter from Local 251 to represent all the highway employees. I'm not sure who it is with the FOP or the Employees Association for the people that work here in the courthouse. I feel that they should have some influence or some impact in this presentation, again, because by statute, some of these are outside the scope of what the CIR would allow.
Is this discussion, I mean, wouldn't that be part of the management and employer advisory committees? Wouldn't they have a broader scope view and work within the statutes of comparison?
I'm not sure.
I can speak to that. My recommendation as far as this agenda item goes is ultimately for the board to take no action, because the appropriate process for rule amendment is through the advisory group process that's led by the personnel officer, as Mary Davis presented to the board earlier. I think what's good here is that we're seeing employee engagement, particularly from the non-union group, and maybe that's a voice that felt like it hadn't been heard in years past. But Mr. Force, your point is very well taken, is that management also has to consider our labor unions when we evaluate our benefits package. And so that's the wisdom behind the advisory group process and it being brought forward through the personnel officers' channels, which ultimately is through HR. So I think the discussion is fine to have today. I would encourage Mr. Hergenrader to bring the recommendations to the advisory groups, and then we can have a more robust conversation and balanced conversation with human resources and flesh this all out.
I would say that when I started this whole process a few months ago, those advisory committees were not in place.
They were not in place.
Right.
Yeah. Acknowledged. We're grateful for the work that you've done and the presentation that you made.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Am I supposed to open it up for additional comment?
We do have someone that has requested.
Okay.
We do have someone that requested additional comment, Christine Ott.
Please introduce yourself. if you
Yes.
would, please.
Thank you. My name is Christine Ott. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I have been employed for a little over a year in the county attorney's office. I'm in support of this proposed change to the vacation sick leave hours. However, I'm surprised by the amount of the proposed changes. I'd like to start with my backstory and how I came from a job in which I'd been at for 11 years. While at my former employer, the first 3 years of employment, I earned 4.615 hours of vacation sick leave for the annual amount of 120 hours. Then after 3 years, I earned 6.15 hours on 160 hours annually. These hours were to be used for both vacation and sick leave, plus I had time off for all the federal holidays. All the holidays. Granted, I'm a relatively healthy person. I learned to manage and budget my leave. I may not be the norm, but I always had 1 week saved for sick, and then I used the rest for vacation leave. Our current policy and the proposed changes, which gives more sick time than vacation time, are detrimental to the average healthy person, as they will use less of their allocated sick leave. Currently, the leave time that I get leaves me with very few opportunities to travel with my spouse, whose company provides him substantially more vacation time than our current and proposed vacation leave. Or I have to choose if I'm going to visit my grown children who live out of state and long distance. Which one? I'd like to do both. I do appreciate the additional hours of the proposed changes to the current sick vacation leave policy. However, I believe more hours should be allocated to vacation and less time to sick to provide a better balance of time off and move closer to what other companies and organizations offer. Thank you for your time. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Was I supposed to state the time that she started and closed?
No.
No.
Okay, got it. If no one else is requested to come forward, I can close that time for comments. Time is closed for comments at 2:28. Do we have a motion?
For what?
With regards to the suggested action.
I thought it was going to be put on hold until they brought something
That
back.
would
Oh,
require
all
a
right, I'll
motion.
motion that.
That would be, okay,
I would
so,
like to make a motion to postpone the vote until they come back with the correct information for all the.
My recommendation would be to actually the board take no action. You can just proceed
Thank
to
you.
the next agenda item. No motion is needed.
no motion is needed to table.
Correct. You can take no action on an agenda item. So that would be my recommendation, is taking no
So
action,
how do we establish consensus on the board that we're taking no action?
because no motion has come forward, so no
No
action is
motion.
taken.
Okay, got it, thank you.
Yep.
Is there anyone else considering a motion? Hearing no motion, the board will take no action with regards to this. Want to note that we're grateful for the comments we have seen and reviewed, and we are also very happy that the management and employee advisory committees are now in place. I think we should look forward to further discussion around these topics down the road. That brings us, I think, to item 5, adjournment.
It would be 7, but, okay. I'll move to adjourn.
Motion by Bennett,
Second.
second by Forrest. There it is.
Diane, do you want to vote?
I do want to.
4 yea, motion carries.
And the meeting is adjourned at 2:31.